morning, everyone. My name is Nicole Henry, and welcome to day one of the Rev.Up Summit. In today's session, we will discuss how Microsoft uses data to empower their revenue operation teams and the customers that they support. I am joined here today by Vandana Gangwar and Nicole Matuska from Microsoft. During today's presentation, I will cover some of the observations we are seeing in the market and how it's affecting revenue operation teams. I will then hand it over to Microsoft to explain their data journey as it relates to revenue operations. Microsoft will then share where they are today and what is on the horizon for them and their respective teams. We'll then end the session with Q&A. We are joined here today by Vandana Gangwar. She is the General Manager of Data and Business Strategy in Global Sales, Marketing, and Operations at Microsoft. She is working on enabling ease of doing business for customers, partners, and sellers using data. She is co-leading company-wide vision and execution on data, AI, and machine learning strategy to increase seller productivity and revenue growth. And we are also joined here by Nicole Matuska, Director within the Enterprise Protection, Insights, and Compliance Group as part of Microsoft Business Operations. She leads a multi-dimensional change initiative to transform how Microsoft manages its B2B customer, partner, and supplier data to better enable a connected business ecosystem and power Microsoft's own digital transformation. So let's dive right in. In the past year, we have seen a change in the market as buyer expectations, have pushed revenue operation teams to rethink how they go to market. As we all know all too well in this past year, remote work has become the norm, resulting in lesser seller face time with customers, and has shed a new light on the fact that sales is only one touch point in the ever complex buying journey. And it goes without saying that the customer buying journey is non-linear, pushing teams to really acknowledge the entire buying journey, including how a buyer engages online. And then lastly, as a result of the changes, the traditional systems of engagement are simply not cutting it, as we are seeing an increasing need for all teams who interface with the customer to work together to really truly create an experience that delights the customer. Revenue operation teams who centralize their operations, connect third-party and first-party data on the customer, and create a continuous customer feedback loop will be the teams that succeed in the future. According to Gartner, by 2025, over 75% of the highest growth companies in the world will deploy what they are calling a Rev.Ops model. I will now hand it over to our partner and customer, Microsoft, to explain how they have evolved their revenue operation teams and further dive into their journey. Vandana?
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate the background context and the warm welcome. We are really excited to be part of the conversation today. As Microsoft, we are helping thousands of our customers in their digital transformation journey. As we continue to innovate, we are on our own transformation path. We are building our technology and capabilities to be based on data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence, all built on the solid foundation of customer master. To give perspective, Microsoft is large and complex organization in multiple ways. Just to introduce our scale, we operate in hundreds of countries around the world, where we serve hundreds and millions of commercial business customers across different segments, and in partnership with hundreds of thousands of partners in our ecosystem and tens of thousands of our sellers. That's a lot of numbers, and that requires a lot of orchestration across account teams, technical teams, and partner teams. A few years ago, when we started the commercial transformation from strategy perspective, we had the classic case of transformation from our processes and systems as well. The problems were similar to those experienced by other companies of our size and our age. We had siloed processes and tools for reporting. Among other things, this severely impacted our ease of doing business for our sellers, partners, and customers. We did not have a single version of truth across our reporting systems and lacked a level of data governance. Our sellers were spending way too much time on internal focus efforts and meetings and trying to just get the right customer data that continued to be a challenge. We had all the intent. We had to focus and align our efforts. We were a data-intense organization at all levels of execution. Without a unified platform, we had multiple systems with disconnected data, with different data taxonomy, different definitions, different latency, different refresh rates, different attributes. We were collecting an increasing number of new features, but we were not really able to harvest the optimum value of richness of this data. And we were inundating nearly everyone in our org with it, be it leaders, be it managers, be it sellers. If you think about it, we were expecting all of our sellers to be data or systems analysts, to look through all of these pieces of information and analyze it, drive insights from it, and take appropriate actions and work with different teams to generate value for our customers. It was a huge opportunity, and we had to start small in some ways and big in some other ways. We laid out our North Star and shared it across different engineering teams, operations, finance, and our sales ecosystem. We worked at grassroots levels in bringing the relationship data together to bring the story out, to make those astute insights very obvious for everyone for their role. We worked across the company to stitch the data together across customer information, opportunities, consumption patterns, and along with the seller connection and alerts and contacts. We worked on building a connected data platform, which was supposed to provide insightful, unified experience through data and intelligence. This did help us create a better seller experience across the entirety of deal lifecycle, right from opportunity to transaction, to billing, to support, to consumption. Our goal was simple, just to ensure that sellers don't have to go to multiple sources to collect different nuggets of data. And we worked on delivering the right data and intelligence to the right person so as to improve the customer experience. This has been a journey, and we are still on it. As an example, we had hundreds of machine learning models built in different teams that were serving our sales org. We had to align all of these teams so that we knew which team can leverage which data attributes and from where. We aligned on the data governance across different engineering teams so that we had a single model for one objective served to our sellers and not multiple data insights. The intelligence and actionability had to really rise above the noise for it to be truly impactful. Then the insights had to be clearly emerged from the noise across different stages of customer lifecycle, across different functions in sales and marketing. All of the siloed systems had to connect to create a single fabric of information with right nuances of insights and actionable recommendations. It was not a linear process, and we had to work on creating a multi-threaded models with rich and dynamic attributes for right algorithms. And for this to be robust, we had to create a digital feedback loop so that we can equip our data science efforts with reinforcement learning, which is connected across business development, lead management, opportunity progression, consumption, and customer success. The company invested in aligning different CRM systems and create a layer of insights available in single destination with a role-based filter. It was very important. This required connection between strategy and operations, execution, right from the planning purposes like the account planning to consumption. It has been a journey for us. And more than the technology stack, it has been a journey where culture evolution has been a critical component for our success. It required right sponsorship from our leadership team. It required right planning and perseverance. It required right diligence and details. And above all, it needed some time. We moved from multiple CRM systems to one. We aligned our data science efforts across the teams for meaningful, accurate, actionable recommendations. We had to work on solving the complexity of seller tools. We had to sometimes mask this complexity by building scaffolding for sellers leveraging Power Apps so they don't have to do the duplicate data entry. We had to align the information and insights across different levels of organization. We had to invest in building what we call as MSX guided selling, i.e. a Microsoft seller experience built on Microsoft tech stack. This provided the right information to the right person at the right time for the right action while equipped with the right content and know the contact for the right customer experience for a quantifiable impact. This was our journey to put customer at the center of everything we do. But hold on, we did not have a single definition of customer, and we did not quite know left to right view on our customers. We had to invest in a whole parallel effort and project in getting our customer master prepared for this. Let me pass on to Nicole Matuska, who will walk us through this aspect of transformation for us.
Thanks, Vandana. I'll now talk about how a key initiative to transform the way we manage our customer data is enabling teams across Microsoft in this journey. As the case with many companies of Microsoft's tenure, span of operations, and breadth of products and services, we grew organically through product evolution, going from full package products to digital distribution, and now cloud services, through the acquisition of companies and the expansion into new markets. As we grew and tackled these new market challenges, often data assets were optimized for a specific area of the business, a specific product or cloud service, or specific channel motions. This created an inconsistent understanding of the same customer as they engaged across Microsoft. It also created non-coherent and often poor data quality. And our data collection practices were dictated by a single step in the process versus thinking of the broader information needs across teams. And this was actually okay for many years. It allowed us to quickly meet new market challenges while keeping our overall business stable. Things have changed, however, and our customers' expectations have changed. The friction that this adds in our real-time and connected processes will become a key disabler if not addressed. A comprehensive understanding of a customer is now critical to ensuring doing business is easy and we remain competitive in the marketplace. Our vision is to enable a connected and trusted customer, partner, and supplier data supporting all aspects of an organization's relationship with Microsoft. We need to understand a single entity as they engage from buying to deployment and then managing their cloud services. We also need to know how that organization is related to other organizations rolling up into a single, often global company. Microsoft is in the middle of this journey, and it's a multi-year journey to achieve this and tackling it through an initiative sponsored across the company. We have an aligned vision and a change management strategy across multiple dimensions. First, we organized our business stakeholders across the company, business functions like sales, marketing, finance, operations, and support, and across product teams like Office and Azure. We tackled cultural challenges that are born from optimizing for silos and truly connected and aligned our business teams. We then established a governance model for both the program and the data. Finally, we developed an adoption framework across all three areas of change we're now driving in order to get immediate, midterm, and long-term value. Our first major goal, and where we're getting the most immediate value, was to connect all the various accounts across Microsoft into a single analytical view of the customer. Our unified hierarchy, as we call it, is a key ring leveraging Dun Bradstreet to match and connect accounts across the company, and then connected through Dun Bradstreet's hierarchy structure to form what we refer to as customer families. Our customer profiles are then connected to broader customer insights provided by Dun Bradstreet and others to understand things like company size, revenue, segmentation, and risk data, helping us make better decisions through a better understanding of our customer. This forms the basis of an enterprise-wide Customer 360 to create a shared view of the customer across all teams, where we continue to bring in new data assets as we adopt for different scenarios. Through the adoption of this as an enterprise asset, we're also eliminating the cost of operating siloed solutions and moving to a shared company view and understanding of the customer. In parallel, we're conforming our data across the company, aligning on a common data model and standardizing our data collection practices. This helps improve data quality to support critical transactional needs. It reduces duplicate data, and it helps us meet regulatory obligations to better identify bad actors. It also directly improves the quality of our 360-degree views with more accurate connections. In this area, we're using Dun Bradstreet services as a component of our lookup before create processes to directly identify the customer's DUNS number, to prevent duplicate customer profiles, and to provide our sellers with the ability to see the broader organization and expanded insights when identifying a customer as part of a deal. Finally, the longest part of our journey, and the one that we really are still very much at the beginning, we are converging the company's master data systems of record into a single source of truth, which will then power connected experience much more effectively in real time. This is multi-stage, and it's truly the hard stuff as it requires lots of infrastructure changes. So we're breaking it into meaningful moments with defined value. We now have realized the value of converging our sales profiles with our CRM convergence that Vandana referred to earlier, and a single instance of dynamic CRM. We've also transformed how our partners onboard to Microsoft through a common registration process and are converging the various customer self-serve experiences as well. Basically, we're taking the silos out of the silos, and then we'll begin converging the larger silos. The work we're doing in the prior two horizons will help facilitate this process. For several convergence initiatives in flight, the unified hierarchy will be leveraged as a key step to merging these sources of truth. So I touched on a few of the key benefits, but will now address the bigger picture value. Connected, high-quality information will eliminate the noise and friction in the system. By knowing who the customer is as they engage across Microsoft, we will enable customer success through world-class service delivery and friction-free engagement across self-serve, Microsoft, and partner channels. This includes enabling differentiated experiences for our cloud services, helping us tailor those experiences to the type of organization, for instance, a healthcare or government entity, and treating our largest and most strategic customers as such, even when servicing the smallest of subsidiaries in their larger company. Delivering high-quality support and enabling personalized recommendations across all products and services, regardless if the customer is self-serving or engaging through a Microsoft sales partner or a seller. This transformation will also enable us to maximize revenue and improve cash flow by increasing productivity, giving time back to sellers to focus on customer relationships and revenue-generating activities. It will also reduce transactional error, decreasing billing disputes, and the resulting cost of capital. And finally, Microsoft has a legal obligation to know who we're doing business with. We are protecting Microsoft, our customers, and partners through third-party risk management. A key part of risk management, we need to be able to detect and block bad actors as they enter the Microsoft ecosystem, and we need to support faster and more effective onboarding through increased automation of identity vetting. Much of this transformation is driven through Microsoft IP and leveraging our own products and services, but Dun Bradstreet's real-world and pre-vetted data assets and services are critical to both understanding the customer from the outside in and in helping us rapidly deploy while we're tackling some of the harder aspects of changing our internal data infrastructure. Vandana will now discuss what's next in our journey.
Thanks, Nicole. As Nicole mentioned, we are still on our journey of enabling true artificial intelligence-driven guided selling across all aspects of customer, partner, and seller interfaces across the entirety of deal lifecycle. We are working on meeting the user in the interface they are in through right role-based interfaces with consistent information across all of these interfaces. We would like to have the right information, insights, and details show up in all the relevant customer and partner interfaces where applicable, take our in-product experience to the next level of proficiency. For us at Microsoft, it's very important to have the right enforcement of data security, compliance, privacy, and trust. As Nicole was mentioning, this is to ensure we continue to set newer and higher benchmarks and standards across the whole practice. We'll be working through optimum combination of AI and ML and BI to be serviced through right system of intelligence with right alerts and recommendation for its users across all the interfaces. We are still on our journey to build a democratized data science platform so that every data science model does not have to build a full-scale data operation exercise, which they have to do today. We are working on building the scalable, accessible platform with right security standards and inbuilt compliance mechanism. And all of this has to be built on the solid foundation of unified customer partner master, which is where we are closely partnering with Dun Bradstreet. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Vandana and Nicole, for sharing your journey with us today. It was insightful for me, as I'm sure it was for the audience. So thank you both for your time today with us. So now that brings us to the Q&A portion of today's session. All right, so we have some questions here, and I will hand it off to either Vandana or Nicole to answer. So the first question we have here is, how long has this journey been in the works for Microsoft? Vandana, would you be best suited to answer this first question?
Let me take a pass at it. This has been a journey where we have spent past few years in building the foundations, and we'll continue to create newer benchmarks for impact and experience. I would say it has been a journey of years, and the journey has just begun. We'll continue to set the newer benchmarks, and we'll continue to proceed on this one.
Great, thank you for that. The next question we have here are, what are the best practices that you would share for those that are about to start on this journey themselves? I'll hand it over to you again, Vandana, if that's okay.
Sure, I would say, as I said, it's a journey, and it requires a lot of executive sponsorship and leadership at multiple levels. I would say maybe 5 or 6 things here. One of them is to make sure you get the sponsorship at all levels. When I say all levels, it truly means from the senior most leadership team to the person who has to really write the code and make the change. We have to ensure that you have an aligned vision and strategy with a lot of moving parts, because this acts as a compass for us to keep coming back to it. And above all, cultural change, a growth mindset, which is a Microsoft big theme of culture, is almost a must-have, almost as important as a tech stack in this whole dimension. Ensure that everyone knows that this is a long-term project, and it's not going to be perfect in the beginning. And it has to have a multidimensional accountability and responsibility. So it's not like you're waiting for one team to complete something. It should be done simultaneously across different teams so as to create the right element of dependencies. And I would say what is also important is one should always do the hard work to quantify the business value of this project and sustain sponsorship, because that holds through the accountability. And with so many other competing priorities, that helps us continue to prioritize this project in an appropriate and effective manner. But it's a journey, and everyone has to start it sooner the better.
Thank you very much for that insight, Vandana. I think the next question would be best suited for Nicole. The question is, what were some of your key learnings and/or challenges that you would share with the audience? Nicole, can you take this one?
That's a great question. I think one of the main key learnings was that it's really important to show wins early in the process and to show incremental wins in order to get buy-in and to sustain that buy-in. You're on a multi-year journey. You need to make sure that you're showing actual value for the investments that the company is making in this initiative. The second would be is that it's a complex and intense process. This is a marathon we're on. So don't be afraid to pivot and be flexible. Where you see a barrier in one place, there's an opportunity that opens up in another. So be really that growth mindset and being able to move where the opportunities are. And celebrate the incremental wins. I think oftentimes people think that they are going to have this big moment at the end of something, but on a project like this, where you're actually making incremental change, you really need to celebrate those wins to sustain your project team. The process, I think Vandana also referred to this, but that process and project alignment is super important. You've got a multi-year project, and with those kind of projects, key stakeholders come in and out. Organizations reorganize within the company. It's really important to maintain a constant pulse on the strategy and bring others along for the journey. And I think we've seen this through just various changes as we've gone through the journey, that constantly checking in and making sure that new people are brought up to speed on where we're at and understand where we're going.
Thank you, Nicole. I think that's really great advice, to just celebrate the short-term wins, because as Nicole and Vandana explained, this is a process, right? And a journey. So thank you again, Nicole and Vandana, for your time today. And thank you for everyone who tuned in to Microsoft session. I hope you have a great rest of the show, and thank you again. And we hope to talk to you soon. Thanks.